YouTube hasn't made impressions on my videos for 10 years. I want to know why, goddammit! When I was a little kid, the first YouTube video I ever watched was Link Finds a Ninja. The idea that Link could open a chest and find something unexpected. As my YouTube journey progressed, I stumbled upon a video called The Blue Guy by Mario 54321. I didn't think much of it at first, but when I watched it, there's like Mario Kart, and he drives and goes off course to Peach's castle, and then it shows Mario in the castle, and I was like, how the frick did he get off the cart? What black magic is this? I kinda wanted to do that myself with my mom's camcorder. Keep in mind I was like 8. Then came the rise of SMG4. Which I thought stood for Super Mario Guy 4, but stood for Super Mario Glitchy 4. This guy made Machinima look easy. Only thing is, I didn't know how he did it! 3 Marios in the same shot, but they look different? I was like, what? And then, the final inspiration. Legend of a Goat. I watched this guy. He said, my blue hair is not a cheat code! Apparently, everybody in the comments section was asking the cheat code to his supposed blue hair. Along the way, I figured out something. You can edit Link's tunic color in Majora's Mask. And then I learned that you could do it in Ocarina of Time. Then I learned that you can edit the images that are on top of the character known as textures. I was like, ooh, I can make different Links. And I also did this with Mario 64. Ooh, I can do this with Mario. Problem. How was I supposed to get these characters to be videos? I couldn't figure it out. So I took several screenshots of my characters running and trimmed them out and played them in sequence, hoping that they'd work. It looked okay for a while, but after a while it got a little jittery. So, after making about 20 different Link characters, I decided it was time for a change. One day, I decided that I wasn't going to trim these guys out by hand anymore. I was going to figure this stuff out. I did everything I could think of, but then something sparked. The beta quest code. Apparently, this code turns anything in Majora's Mask into a playable game. Any cutscene can be turned into a playable game. So I enabled this at the beginning, and it put you at the title screen, and I accidentally jumped off like the idiot I am. And guess where I wound up? In a blank area perfect for green screening, which was hex editable to any value pretty much. And one day, I decided to fiddle with Blender's node compositor and figured out that you can basically make anything you want if you're smart enough. And that's basically the story of how I learned all of this. Apart from GIMP Shop and Blender 3D animating, I'm not going to get into all that. But now I get to tell you the story that I've been wanting to tell you. For a couple of weeks after I made my first characters, I wondered how I would make it make sense that they were Links, but not Links. You know, since SMG4 made a bunch of Marios and they weren't Marios. He never really said they were not the same. He never said they were the same person. So I took my own take on it. What if they were from alternate dimensions? Alternate universes. Let's just go with that. One day when I was a little kid, I drew a poster that said Dimension Valorda, and then changed it to Valordia because it sounded cooler. This is that poster. We had a few characters on there. X-Genesis, the guy in the blue tunic with the bloody face. We had Big Money, the yellow guy with the blue hair and black tunic. We had Microbulb 2437, which was an android Link. We had Cyan, which is just some random Link with that tunic color. He's climbing on a ladder in the background. And we had Lord Grey, which was an alternate universe Mario. For some odd reason, he has a headset on, which is probably not possible to do. Came up with the idea that they were all brainwashed and put into a military base to think that they were going extinct, kind of like the city of Ember. It was called the Grid. And on the outside of it was a planet that was frozen in time and had a giant purple mountain in the distance. Well, the mountain itself isn't really purple, it's just covered in purple flower bearing trees very densely. And on the top of it, there's a dojo where they train. The very first machinima I had ever made, which was lost to time, was X Genesis running through the grid to warn his boss, Big Money, who is basically greedy and stuff, that the base was about to blow up because Jed Fred is turning evil. And Jed Fred blew up the base, and then X Genesis got in this boat slash minecart, and that's all I got. So, I began to write this complex story, and I'll tell it to you in the next video. But I just wanted to give you a brief history, maybe about 5 minutes long, but we're way overdue, so I'm going to cut it off here. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you didn't, well, that's okay too. See you later.